For those visiting Fort Point on that July afternoon, the only sounds that could be heard were the crashing of waves lapping against the boulders which lined the coast. Despite the fact that California is considered by many to be a hot and sunny part of the world, natives of San Francisco wore, and still wear, sweaters, jackets, and long pants, even and especially during the foggy northern California summers. So as afternoon turned to dusk, and dusk turned to evening, the crashing waves sprayed stinging mists of cold water on those who dared to stand on the edge of the coast at the bottom of the fort. The stinging sprays and dizzying loudness of the crashing waves all but forced the city dwellers, as well as the tourists, to disperse, one by one. These natives and tourists each lived different lives. One family had traveled from Minnesota. A young man came from Berlin to have one last hurrah before starting a full-time job. 2 tourists, a man and a woman, even met that day, exchanged phone numbers, and promised to keep in touch. They would fall in love, marry, and then, a decade later, divorce. But everyone, tourist or native, who dispersed from the base of that long-abandoned fort had one thing in common. They would go back to their rooms, they would eat good food that night, and they would, soon enough, feel warm again. Anna predicted that, by the end of that hour, she would never feel those things again. She was a native of the city. Unlike the other natives, Anna rarely wore sweaters or jackets or long pants, which was the case that night. She did not mind feeling cold, or, if she did mind, she did not show it. The annoyance of the crashing waves was only compounded by a homeless man who would pass by on occasion and pluck at a broken ukulele's strings with his fingers. But Anna could not hear any individual's words, nor the plucking of ukulele strings, nor the waves. Instead, Anna thought about the lives of the people who she saw that day. She knew that she would never know the details of their futures, but she wanted to know. She cared so much about the people in the crowd. The tragedy was that not one of these people cared about her. To them, she was another body. Anna was determined to kill herself. She would throw herself in, past the stinging mist, into the shock of the crashing tides, then drown in the calm part of the world where the Pacific met the bay. For Anna, the sting and shock were worth it, to quiet her ever-racing thoughts about the lives of others. She cared so much, thought so much, and just wanted to feel calm, or, at least, feel nothing. Anna felt, in her soul, that the sunset from half an hour ago was the last ray of that bright star she would ever see. There was a melancholy about it, but not enough to stop Anna in going forward with her plan. She walked forward, away from her spot on the fort's bench. She thought to herself that would be the last time she would make anything feel her warmth. She walked up to the edge of the sea wall and stared into the crashing waves. But she did not hear the crashing of the waves. Nor did she hear that future in which her mother would receive the call and crumple to the floor, and the future in which she would be burying her child. All she could hear was the screaming across her mind. She jumped. Just as predicted, the sting stung and the waves shocked her into unconsciousness. Only in her unconscious state did she begin to think of her mother, and the burial, and the future she would soon be facing. After that vision, Anna simply thought what she always did when peering into that version of reality. It's selfish to keep me around when I'm clearly in pain. And she began to drown, only to wake up on land. She felt hands pumping on her chest and lips blowing air into her mouth. She started gasping for air. After catching a single breath, Anna began to shiver uncontrollably. She nearly drowned again from the taste of salt from the polluted bay water, biting her lips and tongue. She had expected to see the face of God, which she had been taught to love and fear, the next time she woke up. Instead, she came face to face with the visage of the scraggly, bearded, scarred, dirty, homeless man, whose ukulele lay feet away. Although her eyes were blurred by the water she dove into, Anna swore that she would remember that face. He reassured Anna that an ambulance would be at the scene momentarily, and to just hang on. The moment Anna gained a breath, she lost her mind again to the whispers, chatters, and screams of others. She would never hear that man's voice again. After she was taken from the scene of her attempted suicide, Anna went to a hospital where she would stay for 10 days until she became stable enough to go back to her mother. Then fell in love 1 month later.
Cause the tire's burning and the gunfire we're gonna have to drive right through.
After a moment of silence, her mom's instincts took over. The moment the words escaped from her daughter's lips that she was gay and that she was in love, she knew that if her love meant turning her back on the church, so be it. Anna had never felt love like that before. One of the cries in Anna's head vanished. Anna made the decision to come out to her family at her 29th birthday party. The announcement was met with disgust by some in the extended family. Although Anna wanted to move on with the conversation, the other Catholic family members, roused by Cousin Raoul, would not comply. Instead, they expressed they did not want her at any more family gatherings. In reply, Anna's mother said that she would not be at any family gatherings either, then promptly punched Cousin Raoul in the nose. Anna beamed and was never more proud to be her mother's daughter. Anna had to admit that she did not want to let someone into her world of screams. But as soon as she realized that she could let this person into her world, they married. And all of the voices in her head ceased crying, whispering, or screaming, never to return.
If it's not safe to drive, he says it might be best to stay with the Mambo priestess. Oh, that is what we're gonna do. On the way back, through papers scattering, through the streets so lean, on the